All right, so we've set some levels, we've recorded some submasters, and now what we're going to do is record some cues. A cue is a look on stage that we can move from one to the next with timing pre-assigned, unlike a submaster, which is a manual fade. And if we go from one sub and we fade to the next, we're doing that manually. A cue will allow us to do that with a predetermined time. So a couple of different ways to record cues, and we're going to go over them all kind of quickly. We can set some channels manually, so we'll just kind of set a look with our first couple of channels. We'll just stay with 1 through 3, and we record. The console assumes cue, so all I have to do is give it a number. We'll record 1, and you'll notice on the command line that it's record Q1, and enter. We'll pull those down, and we'll make an adjustment, and we'll record a new one. Record 2, enter. And we'll pull those down, and we can also do it using our submasters. So we'll use submaster 1 as our look, and we'll record, and maybe I don't recall what number it was, or I just want to make it easy. I can do next, which gives us the next channel in order, and enter. And we use our other submaster and record next, enter. And the final way we can do that is by using our keypad. So I can do 1 through 7 at 80, enter, and record next, enter. So we very quickly and easily recorded a series of cues. I'm going to swap the screen so you can see on our cue list. Cues 1 through 5 have been recorded. Default fade time of 5 seconds. And down here we'll see this change as we move through our cues. So to get back to Q1, there's a couple of ways to do that. The easiest way is to use the Go To button. Go to Q1, enter. Jumps us back to the top of the list. We'll wait till it completes. Now using the Go or Stop Back buttons, using Go will move us forward. Q2 is fading, and we'll see our display here changing. And when it finishes, Q2 is the cue we're in. Q3 is the cue we're going to. Percent complete, and the amount of time. This is going to immediately go to 0 and count up to 100. This will jump to 5 seconds and count down to 0 when I hit the Go button. So, hitting the Go button, this section is counting up, this section is counting down, telling us how far through the fade we are. Excuse me. If 5 seconds isn't what we want to use, maybe 5 is a little too long, we want to make that cue go a little faster, we simply hit from the cue we're in, time 2, enter. And now Q3 will fade in 2 seconds. And I can take a look at that by hitting the back button, which puts us back into Q2. And when I hit go, this will now run much faster and complete in a 2-second time. Well, maybe 2 seconds isn't quite right, but I know I want the next group of cues to all change together. We want to make it 3 seconds. Using the Q button, we can go Q3 through 5, time 3, enter. Now we've just changed all 3 of those cues to fade in 3 seconds, and we continue to move forward by hitting the Go button into Q4 and into Q5. Well, let's back up to Q3 by using the Stop Back button. And we'll go all the way back to Q2. In reality, I don't necessarily want them to do what's referred to as a crossfade, which is the same as using, if we were manually fading those cues, it would be the same as running them concurrently like that. We're going to do what's called a split fade, which is running one fade faster than the other. I'm demonstrating that manually now. And the way we do that is by changing the time into a split fade time. So if we go Q3, time 3, and I'm going to swap the screen for a moment so you can see our command line. So we have time 3, Q3, time 3. We hit time again, and now we're going to adjust our down fade time, and we're going to make the down fade just a little bit slower, so we'll go to 5 seconds, and enter. Swap our screen again so we can see what that looks like. Q3 now has an intensity up fade time of 3 seconds, and intensity down fade time of 5 seconds. We're in Q2, which is the solid gold. We've adjusted the time on Q3, which is the outline. We hit go. Q3 runs, and it comes up in one time and down in the other. So Q2 went out in 5 seconds, and Q3 came up in 3 seconds. And that's referred to as a split fade time. You can do the same thing on Q4 and make a different adjustment. So if I go Q4, so I don't have to adjust the time of the queue that I'm sitting in, by simply selecting Q4 first, time, change the screen again so we can take a look at that, Q4 time, and we'll reverse this one and we'll make it come up more slowly than it goes down, 4 seconds, and then time, 2 seconds, enter. So now I've just done a time up of 4 and a time down of 2. We swap back, and the display changes again. We have an interesting display feature here. Q4 has no outline around it. The down fade time has no outline around it, and the 2 is a lighter 2. It's because we really don't have any levels in Q4 fading down, and that's what that's telling us. So we can fix that here in a little while when we come back in and edit our cues. So simply hitting go on 4, in reality what's happening in Q4 is levels are only coming up. And we hit go again on Q5, and we've kind of completed working through our stage looks.